In this video, I show you how I created this ultra short cropped mannequin wig from fake fur. Right, let me introduce you to my new 3D printed mannequin head that needs a wig. She's a very famous person and she needs an ultra short clipped 80s style wig. And those lines I have created using electrician's insulation tape. The black line is kind of roughly where the hairline is, and the white line is where the hard cap base will sit. I've got my mannequin head covered in a silicone swimming cap, but you could use cling film, and there's some string tied behind the ears, and that just keeps the cap nice and tight behind that ear contour. Now, I'm going to need some little closures for the edges of the wig, and I do that by slicing the pile off the fur, like I'm doing here, and I create the little edges of her wig, and I do that first just to get it out of the way. I'm just backcombing the very short filaments out of the fur here. They're really annoying, you don't need them, and they just get all gummed up in the fur. And I just trim a little bit off the ends, and look at that, it looks so much more like hair and less like fur pile. Now I've got some Yoo-hoo glue, and I'm just lying it there across that temple area, or what will become the temple area of the wig, and I'm just pushing the pile gently into that Yoo-hoo glue. Yoo-hoo glue is great, it dries transparent and doesn't yellow over time, but it's like a rubber cement, I guess. I'm not sure what it's called in the States. And I'm just using a toothpick to arrange that slightly. You want to make sure that the angle's correct here. So basically the same on the other side, a bit of Yoo-hoo glue on the angle of the temple there. I've tried to arrange the ends of the fur there so that they kind of slightly follow that angle. It doesn't have to be super accurate because we want to kind of get a little bit of roughness. But what I'm trying to avoid here is having to cut the edges of the fur after it's dried. Now I have some hair gel, just your 80s style hair gel, and I'm putting that over the top of this fur pile. The glue's dried, by the way. It's been on there for about 20 minutes. So now I'm putting this gel into the pile, and at some point I'm probably going to call it hair, so forgive me, but the pile, the fur pile, which I'll just call hair from now on. Now I'm covering it with ultra firm hairspray, just pushing it in. I'm not using a comb, because if you put a comb in it, you'll get those comb lines, and I don't want them. And I'm doing the same at the back here, at the nape, created like a little backwards mustache for the nape of the hair. Right, I let them dry and then I peeled them off. This is about a few hours later once they've dried nicely. Now I'm going to make a pattern for the rest of the wig, which is going to be used when I'm cutting the fur out. So here I'm just trying to apply cling film as smoothly as possible. Of course, there's going to be a join in the back, so you can't avoid that. But the rest of it, I'm just trying to get as wrinkle-free as possible. And I'm using a bit of masking tape just to hold that in place. As you can see, that's masking tape, the blue stuff. The fancy, expensive type of masking tape, but you can use whatever masking tape you've got. I'm putting a strip around the widest part of the head, and that's just to sort of keep it secure and stop it moving. So now I am placing little pieces of masking tape over the inside of that area of where I've marked with the insulation tape. So I should have mentioned that I put the string around the ears, around the silicone cap there, just to keep it tight behind the ears. You might want to look at some of my other videos about fur wigs where I go into that with a lot more detail. I've done this so many times now that I keep forgetting what I've said and what I haven't said. So this is about the third or fourth fur wig I've made. I'm just making sure I don't lose any marks that I've put on there. So as I do a layer of tape, I make sure that I go over it if I'm going to cover over the marks. Here I'm just creating a circular shape around the crown of her head. These are going to be where the pieces of fur are cut. I'm just going to mark the center of the crown. I'm not really sure how I'm going to deal with that yet, but it's good to have it on the pattern piece. And I am doing this so that I can keep this for other fur wigs for this mannequin head, because you never know, I might want to make another one in the future. I'm marking a line at the center back, which is where the pieces of fur are going to meet. I'm just removing this now without disturbing the silicone cap or the lines or the string that's holding it behind the ears there. And now I'm just cutting out these lines, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm on the outside of the line, not the inside of the line. And that's how you make a pattern for a wig. And you could do this for a human wig even. Send it off to the factory and they'll know how big your head is. Right, so I just wanted to make sure that these pieces flatten out as much as possible, because that's going to help. Now, if you want to watch this video, I think that might be a good idea. It's how to make a hard cap, which I have done umpteen times. So I made a video about how to do it, and you might want to watch that if you don't know how to make a hard cap for this wig. This is a shaved hairdressing mannequin, and they're quite handy to have if you don't have a wooden block. But you just have to be aware that that hair can be a bit like Velcro. You want to approach with caution. The Velcro can be good, and it can be bad. So if you put a silicone cap over it, that just stops it pulling the pile of the fur back through, which you want to keep. You don't want to lose all that pile. Now, you can see this is the fur that I'm using, and that was the pattern pieces pinned to my wooden wig making block. And I don't know if you noticed, but it doesn't actually fit it properly, but that doesn't matter because I'm just using this block to stretch the fur out while I place the pattern pieces over the top of it. It's kind of a little bit easier than doing it flat. You can do it on the flat, but if you do it around a round head form, it's a little bit easier, and that's what you end up with. I've made sure that the pile is going away from the face, or what will be a face. I'm just using a box cutter here to cut out those pattern pieces. And I'm just leaving a little bit of extra here at the center back, just as an insurance policy. It's good to have something to be able to hold on to, and it also, you never know, they might not quite meet in the same place where they should. So it's good to have a little bit of extra fur at the back that you can cut off if you don't need it, or if you do need it, you don't have a bald patch in the back. Now, just comb out any loose bits of fluff. This is just a single layer of buckram that I've created this with because it's going to have a fur all over it. It doesn't have to actually be that strong. I'm just testing that this pattern piece fits properly in coordination with the lines that I have planned with the insulation tape and the buckram cap, which, like I said, is just one layer. Now here I'm making a parting. It's right at that temple area of the wig, and that is just because later on when I cut this wig, I am going to need to know that that parting is there. It's where the length is going to change. So now I'm just between that parting along the front, tying it up in silicone rubber bands, just checking again that that is in the correct position. And now I'm marking that point on the buckram base with a white pencil. And I've tied the whole thing up in lots of little rubber bands, and that's just so that we don't get glue caught in the pile of the fur. I've placed it back on the head. This is the back view, and I've just marked where that circular piece goes in the middle. Now, more Yoo-hoo glue, and I'm just covering that center section of the forehead there, and I'm gluing that on first, and that's the bit that you really want to make sure looks correct. So you get that on first, and I'm making sure that it just reaches the front of that buckram. Not too much more, but definitely not less. We don't want a black line. Right, now I do this above the ear area, and I'm doing a line. And the reason why I'm doing a line is then I know where the glue should be applied quite accurately. And then when I fold the fur back, when I do the next section, there's none of this halfway point where you don't know whether you've got glue or not. And I'm just trying to make sure I don't push the glue through the backing of the fur, obviously. I'm sort of putting it in place, but I'm trying to really make sure that I'm not pushing too hard. You don't want the glue to come through into the fur, obviously. Right, so this is this back point, and I've just putting a line there. So applying glue like lightning, liberally. And you can see now when I pull this over, by having that extra length in the center back, when you cut the fur out, it just gives you a handle to pull that across, and you can make sure that you don't end up with glue all over your fingers. Now when I fold it back, look, there's a lovely sharp line that I know is going to be attached really well when I glue the other side. Now I'm taking a little strip of fur from the very bottom there. It's probably only about a centimetre, or what is that in inches? Just under half an inch, is it? I don't know. And doing it on the other side, of course. Right, now I'm going to cut some excess off. Now I'm using a box cutter here. If you had a hairdressing razor, that'd be great. I do have a hairdressing razor. I don't know where I'd put it when I made this video, so I'm just using a box cutter so that you can see that it can be done with a sharp box cutter. You just don't want to cut your fingers, so be very careful. And kids, don't try this at home. It's not for kids. I don't expect children to be doing this. Cut off any excess bits of fur that you might have missed. So you want a soft line, but at the same time you don't want long bits of fur that you've missed. And that wasn't done very well, but this is just something to stick the closures to. It doesn't have to be super gorgeous, this. And I'm doing it at the temples as well, so taking a very thin sliver of hair. This might even be less than a centimetre. This, it might be like about 6 mil or something like that. Very thin little piece of fur. Hair, fur. I'm going to go in and out of calling it fur and hair. Right, now, box cutter. Make sure you don't cut the silicone cap. You do not want the silicone cap to fall apart at this point of making your fur wig. Once again, just get those little excess bits off. Get an old toothbrush and put some Yoo-hoo glue on it and just push it down. And here I am pushing it right into the pile and into the backing of the pile, if you can get it. But you don't want to get the glue on that fur that's on the other side that's tied up in the rubber band there, because we want to make sure that we can deal with that later on. And the same in the back. Just push it down, and at the back here it was very difficult for me to film because of the angle of her head, and the way I've got the head mounted isn't very adjustable, so apologies if when I'm dealing at the back here it isn't the clearest. So that Yoo-hoo glue is kind of dry. It's not completely dry, but dry enough. And so now I'm going to attach those closures that I made earlier over the top. So you can see that that little initial application of Yoo-hoo to that fringy fur was just so I could have got something for these to attach to. And I'm also doing it at the back here with my little backwards mustache. And what this does is it just gives the perimeter of the wig some direction, basically. It mimics the look of the way very short human hair tends to sit. So I have to deal with this hole in her crown, and I'm just making sure that this pattern piece actually fits, because sometimes things just don't come out in the wash like they should do. So you just want to make sure that this center piece of fur is actually going to fill in the hole, and it's better that it overlaps rather than doesn't quite fit properly. You can always trim a little bit off at the end of it. So it's always a good idea, I think, to cut this more visible pattern piece out at the very last moment, which is what I've done here. And I'm just trying to make sure that I don't get glue all over the fur as usual. To cut the fur, you're going to need some clippers, and I was trying to cut this fur as long as I possibly could, but still using clippers. And in the end, I used 22mm attachment, which is a number 7 with the wile clippers, and I'm going in the opposite direction to the way the pile kind of flows. And yeah, I mean, you want it short, but you don't want it so short that you can see the base material of the fur. So this kind of worked quite well. The longer an attachment is, the more difficult it is to get through fur or hair as well. So I wasn't exactly sure what I was going to end up using. And here on the top, I have just used that same clipper attachment set to longer, if you know what I mean. It has that lever that you can make the attachment slightly longer, and I've just done that on top. I was hoping to make it even longer, but I couldn't get it through the fur. It was just too long. Now cut any edges that you might have missed with some scissors and get your 80's gel. And now I'm just applying it quite liberally to the nape of her head, sort of in a direction into the middle. Now this wig is for a particular person who I'm not going to name here, but I don't think this is particularly the way her hair grows, but it is a very natural looking hairline pattern that is good to achieve. It also covers that seam where the fur met in the middle, so I'm taking advantage of that. Now here I'm just brushing quite a lot of gel just into the ends. I don't really want this to penetrate the very base of the fur, because that will just draw attention to it. So I'm kind of trying to leave the roots, for lack of a better word, dry and just get the gel in the ends. And now I'm pushing it forward nice and flat onto those little closure-y pieces that I made at the temples. I've got my toothbrush that I'm just really working it quite severely where that join in the fur is, because it's not perfect, but at least the gel can cover that seam. And now I'm just picking little pieces in the top up. I have put some clips on that join just while it's drying to make sure that it covers that seam as much as possible. Now there's this little bit here that is impossible to get while the wig is still attached to my mannequin head, so I'm going to get that off later on. It's also a little bit gluey looking at the sides here. I hope the camera can pick that up. So I'm going to deal with that, and it is the same at the nape here. By the way, you can tell it's been taken off the silicone cap here, but I need to do that just to see what it actually looks like. It's also a bit blunt at the sides, and you need to have it taken off the wig form without those ears in the way to get to those little pieces. So this is that shaved hairdressing mannequin head, and I've just put the wig on top of it. I'm using a finer clipper to just run along the edges there, and I'm just going down the pile here with that clipper, and that is just taking the blunt edge off the fur, which I cut with the scissors early on. It's just tapered it down and makes it look a little bit more naturalistic. Now to deal with all of this glue that you can see there at the trigger in front of the ear, I've just got some acetone, and I have just got it on an old rag, and I'm holding it on there and brushing it down. Now you don't want to dissolve it so the whole thing falls apart, but you can just take away some of that excess glue by rubbing down like that. And I also do it at the nape, at the very back of the wig, and I've just got it on her forehead because, like I said earlier, it's quite difficult to film back there. So this is it. Thank you for watching this video. I'm going to be doing some more mannequin painting now, and I might even paint this mannequin. You might be able to tell who it's supposed to be. But thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more videos about mannequin hair and mannequin painting.